Hi, Write Writers. Cruz here. Thank you so much for joining me. In this video, we are going to practice an Accuplacer Writeplacer sample topic. Our topic involves defending a choice, and specifically, our topic has to do with choosing a vacation destination and explaining the basis for that choice. So, Write Writers, if you would like to write along with me or type along with me as we are doing this process, it is a great opportunity to just see what you are able to come up with under the 30-minute time constraints. Please keep in mind, students, that basically what you are doing is a cold write. So by a cold write, it means it's cold. You're taking a cold shower, meaning you have no idea what topic is going to pop up on your screen. You're just expected to write for 30 minutes, as much as you can on that specific topic. An introduction, a body paragraph, and a conclusion. So we're going to go ahead and get started, Write Writers, and I've got my timer on and it just hit the 30-minute mark. So I am ready to jump in with you in this cold water here, and we're just going to jump in. So when I'm thinking about choosing a vacation destination, a couple of things come to mind. My question is, do I want to take a tropical vacation? Do I want to go somewhere cold? A cold vacation? Do I want to, and so when I say that, Write Writers, I'm talking about, obviously tropical, we're talking about beaches, and maybe I'll just go ahead and give you some examples here. So I'm talking about places like Hawaii. Maybe you want to go to Puerto Rico. Maybe you want to go to Jamaica. Maybe you want to go to the Virgin Islands. So that's something to sort of think about. When we're thinking a cold vacation, maybe we're talking about going to Canada. Maybe we're talking about going to some Scandinavian countries, meaning like Finland, Denmark, those areas of the world, Norway. Maybe you want to go to, maybe you want to go again, sort of skiing, or you want to go beach side? Do you want to take a historical type of vacation? So a vacation where you're actually learning about what is going on in history, or, archaeology. So I'm thinking of places like Egypt is sort of that first spot that comes to mind. Maybe you're interested in the ruins and looking at the Mayan ruins, so maybe taking a trip to Mexico. Maybe you want to see the Incan Empire, and so you maybe want to go to Peru. Those are some examples. Maybe you want to take a religious vacation. So you may decide that you want to go to Israel. You may decide that you want to go, to Mecca. So it really just depends on, where you're interested in going, as far as like destinations and just these ideas of, what does an ideal or a dream vacation look like to you? So I'm going to go ahead and use the topic to start my introduction, start my conclusion, and the bulk of my time, Write Writers, is going to be spent on writing my body paragraph. So enough talking, and it's time to start writing. So let's begin. Choosing a vacation destination and explaining the basis for that choice. Okay, so I am going into first person here, Write Writers, because again, if I'm getting to make a choice and I'm defending that choice, then I'm going first person. If I could choose a vacation destination, so I was also thinking of going, let's say, on a cruise or going on a sailboat, and maybe learning while on vacation. So I'm just sort of thinking about that, of what that might look like for me, because I am someone who enjoys, learning about new things, but I also really enjoy art. And I also really enjoy, colder climates and going somewhere, super far away. And so I am thinking that I would like to maybe go to Russia. I have a background in, as far as like not necessarily a background, but I have read quite a few Russian novels and Russian short stories. And I am fascinated by the culture. And so I would really like to go to Russia, and that would be a trip that I would like to take. Again, if you're going historical, maybe you want to go somewhere very specific. You have some ideas in mind. If you're going, again, on a religious pilgrimage, you make your decision and just start writing. So if I could choose any vacation destination, I would like to visit the country of Russia. Although for some individuals, although some individuals may consider this an awkward choice or a strange choice, I have read several novels and short stories by famous Russian writers, and the idea of visiting Moscow and St. Petersburg fascinates me. Okay, so the one thing that I would say, is that if you're writing about a vacation destination, make sure that you know the cities that you're going to or the places. If not, you should keep it very vague and just maybe say that you would like to travel to a tropical location, and thinking about all the tropical activities and all the tropical experiences that you would have in that location. So again, do not feel like I don't know anything about a country, or I don't know about, you know, um, this state or city, and that's exactly why I want to go there. So do not feel obligated to sort of feel like you have to be super specific. You can go broad and just talk about all the experiences that you imagine you would have there. Again, I don't know what I'm really going to see in Russia, but I'm going to elaborate on some ideas based on what I've read, but also just going broad as well. If I could choose any vacation destination, I would like to visit the country of Russia. Although some individuals may consider this a strange choice, I have read several novels and short stories by famous Russian writers, and the idea of visiting Moscow and St. Petersburg fascinates me. And I'm going to say cities such as Moscow and St. Petersburg fascinates me. Okay, moving on. Let me borrow this, and I'm going to make this my conclusion. Okay, so I'm going to change my conclusion around a little bit, right, writers? And I'm going to say, although some individuals may consider Russia, it would be my chosen destination. And I'm going to take this part out, right, writers? Although some individuals may consider Russia a strange choice, it would be my chosen destination. Not only have I read several novels and short stories by famous Russian writers, the idea of visiting cities such as Moscow and St. Petersburg fascinates me. Okay, so now, the question is, in this case, let me check my timer, right, writers? So I've got 20 minutes and 34 seconds remaining. So now comes the hard part, because the question is, if I do not have enough information about Moscow and St. Petersburg, then I might have to change this. I may have to go back and take these cities out. And so we'll see really what I can come up with under these time constraints. Parading through, walking in the footsteps. And I'm going to say famous writers. I'm going to take out, I'm already making a choice because I also, one of my favorite writers is Richard Wright, and he also visited Russia as well. And so I am going to bring him up as well. So walking the footsteps of famous individuals or of famous writers or novelists. Walking in the footsteps of famous novelists. Has always been a dream of mine. Richard Wright, author of Native Son, traveled to Russia, and if you read his work, you will see how many, if you read his work, you will see both this novel and if you read his work, you will see how Russia has influenced his writing, particularly in his descriptions of both the Communist Party and its members. Okay, checking my timer, 15 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, right, writers? Walking in the footsteps of famous novelists has always been a dream of mine. Richard Wright, author of Native Son, not The Native Son, author of Native Son, traveled to Russia. If you read his work, you will understand how Russia influenced his writings. Russia influenced his writings, particularly in his descriptions of both the communist parties and its members. Another famous artist or writer, of course, other famous writers include Fyodor Dostoevsky, and Leo Tolstoy. Who called Mother Russia their home. Novels such as War and Peace, and I'm going to go into novels such as, sorry about that, right, writers, I just hit my microphone here, include Fyodor Dostoevsky and Leo Tolstoy, who called Mother Russia their home. So I'm thinking of, and I'll get back to other like novels to mention, but let me go ahead and talk about the descriptions. Um, Rich scenery of wide promenades, lush forests, and immaculate architecture. I'm especially intrigued by St. Petersburg due to its rich history, its rich art history. Wide promenades, lush forests, and immaculate architecture. I am especially intrigued by St. Petersburg due to its rich art history. Russia is a vast country. So while Russia is a vast country, therefore my vacation will focus primarily on these two cities. In addition, I would love to be able to take a scenic passenger train, a scenic cross country passenger train In addition, I would love to be able to take, in addition, I would take a scenic cross-country passenger train ride in the footsteps of characters such as Anna Karenina, Brothers Karamazov, and War and Peace. And War and Peace. Okay, so walking in the footsteps, and again, 8 minutes remaining, right, writers? Walking in the footsteps of famous novelists has always been a dream of mine. Richard Wright, author of Native Son, traveled to Russia. If you read his work, you will understand how Russia influenced his writings, particularly in his descriptions of both the Communist Party and its members. Of course, other famous novelists include Fyodor Dostoevsky and Leo Tolstoy, who called Mother Russia their home. Novels such as Brothers Karamazov and War and Peace describe rich scenery and wide promenades, lush forests, and immaculate architecture. I'm especially intrigued by St. Petersburg due to its rich art history. Russia is a vast country. Therefore, my vacation will focus primarily on these two cities. In addition, I would take a scenic cross-country passenger train ride to follow in the footsteps of characters such as Anna Karenina or Karenina, depending on how you say it. So let me see. I hear a few little hiccups, and I'm just wanting to see how to fix them. Um, okay, I think I'm going to say traveled to Russia because I don't like how that Richard Wright, author of Native Son, traveled to Russia, period. And Richard Wright, author of Native Son, traveled to Russia. And if you read his work, you will understand how Russia influenced his writings, particularly in his descriptions of both the Communist Party and its members. And then I move on. And War and Peace describe offer rich descriptions of the Russian people, of the people and scenery. Offer rich descriptions of the people. Offer rich descriptions of people. Wide. Complex people. Wide promenades. Lush forests and immaculate architecture. Okay, so I did this, and again, I kind of want to stop and talk, right, writers, because I have, I've got an adjective and a noun. I've got an adjective and a noun. I have an adjective and a noun, and then I have an adjective and a noun. So I want to make sure that I create balance in that sentence. Um, Time permitting. Okay, so let me check my timer, right, writers. I'm at 3 minutes and 57 seconds remaining. Oh, I also just kind of had a couple of flashbacks of just having a cup of tea through what is called a samovar, and also having um, vodka and caviar. So that's something that you notice when you read these Russian novels, is that that is also part of the culture. So although the food does, is described, it's really more the vodka and the caviar, and also the samovar, having tea from the samovar. So I'm going to go ahead and include that, right, writers, and I'm going to wrap this up because I have 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Before I leave this beautiful country, before leaving this beautiful place, I will also have a traditional cup of tea, samovar style, and I will indulge in vodka with caviar. Time permitting, I would take a scenic cross country passenger train ride to follow along in the footsteps of characters such as Anna Karenina or Karenina, depending on how you say it. Before leaving this beautiful place, finally, before leaving this beautiful place, I will also have a traditional cup of tea, samovar style, and I will indulge in vodka with caviar. Or I would, because I'm in past tense here, and I would indulge Just checking my timer, right, writers. I have 23 seconds remaining. All right. Okay, right, writers, that is it. Time is up. Okay. With that, and I ended with, and I would indulge in vodka with a taste of caviar. So, I probably should have said in a sip of vodka with a taste of caviar, but my timer went up. So let's go ahead and do a word count, right, writers, and then we'll sort of go through this essay and just see, what you think based on what I have here. It's okay. 256. Ooh, if you definitely had to come up with 300 words, I would come up short on this one because I only have 256 words. So, with that said, right, writers, let's go ahead and take a look at what I have. If I could choose any vacation destination, I would like to visit the country of Russia. Although some individuals may consider this a strange choice, I have read several novels and short stories by famous writers, and the idea of visiting cities such as Moscow and St. Petersburg fascinates me. Fine. I have, let's see, how many sentences do I have here? I have two sentences. And what I like is I have my first sentence is a complex sentence. And then my next sentence is a compound complex sentence. So, what I'm also demonstrating is my ability to manipulate grammar. So, we've got a complex sentence followed by a compound complex sentence. So, I'm immediately hitting the person who's grading my essay with some information. And that information is, hey, I know how grammar works. Let's move on to the body paragraph. Walking in the footsteps of famous novelists has always been a dream of mine. Richard Wright, author of Native Son, traveled to Russia, and if you read his work, you will understand how Russia influenced his writings, particularly in his descriptions of both the Communist Party and its members. Of course, other famous novelists include Fyodor Dostoevsky and Leo Tolstoy, who called Mother Russia their home. Novels such as Brothers Karamazov and War and Peace offer rich descriptions of complex people, wide promenades, lush forests, and immaculate architecture. I'm especially intrigued by St. Petersburg due to its rich art history. Russia is a vast country, therefore, my vacation will primarily focus on these two cities. Time permitting, I would take a scenic cross-country passenger train ride to follow along in the footsteps of characters such as Anna Karenina. Before leaving this beautiful place, I would also have a traditional cup of tea, samovar style, and I would indulge in vodka with a taste of caviar. Okay, something I definitely like about this paragraph is that, students and writers, you can definitely understand that I have read these works and I know, I understand terms that would connect with Russia. These terms such as the samovar, definitely bringing up the characters, bringing up the novels. And so although some of these novels are quite dark and involve, murder and intrigue and mystery and a lot of gambling. Russians really like to gamble in specifically in the novels that I've read and the short stories. So gambling is also part of the Russian culture. But I think, you can definitely get that within this paragraph. If I had to change some things, I might want to change the ordering. So I say Russia is a vast country. Then I go into taking this cross country train ride. So the ordering on that may be a little bit off. But I think overall, if I had to name some positives, it's just that you can definitely tell that I have read Russian works. And so that comes through in the paragraph. As far as the grammar is concerned, we have a little mix of some simple sentences, compound complex, and I definitely see that in the writing of the the body paragraph. Before we leave this body paragraph, I also want to point out, right, writers and students, that I have a couple of transition words. We have therefore, and then we also have of course. So if I included words like however or in addition, that would have been great, but I do not see them there. So now we're moving on to our conclusion. Although some individuals may consider Russia a strange choice, it would be my chosen destination. Not only have I read several novels and short stories by famous writers. Okay, that is a little bit awkward, right, writers? The idea of visiting cities such as Moscow and St. Petersburg fascinates me. So I could be docked points for that, because that should really say something like, not only have I read several novels and short stories by famous writers who focus on this vast region, the idea of visiting cities such as Moscow and St. Petersburg fascinates me. So obviously that would change my word count, but right, writers, that was a an error on my part. So not only have I read several novels and short stories by famous writers who focus on this vast region, the idea of visiting cities such as Moscow and St. Petersburg fascinates me. Definitely some points would be taken away from that. And that is my error. And so sometimes that happens, right, writers? You just have to sort of, go with what happens and then see what your score will be. So I hope this, students and subscribers, I really hope that this helps you. Again, seeing my failures, seeing me struggle through the process helps you to see, okay, if this teacher is also struggling and trying to figure out how to do this in 30 minutes, then I am not alone in this struggle. I hope that this topic inspires you and helps you to consider, gee, if I could take a vacation, where would I go? All right, writers. Hope you have a great, again, rest of your week. Love you guys. Thank you for subscribing and or recommending this channel to others who may find this process valuable. Love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.